My staff do have
video thing. I live.
Yeah. Wow! You know what? You know who walked in the studio? No. You know who walked in the studio? What's going on here today, boy? You know who walked in the studio at Synergy? A political leader. Just coming, we spoke, of course. He arrived and he sat down. Ladies and gentlemen, on the hot seat today, he isn't given a chance to come and, you know, the normal thing, I come and greet you and I welcome you to his seat. He just come and sit down, buttocks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the political leader of this new party, the party that contested both Belmont and Barataria in the last local government by-elections, the leader of the People's Empowerment Party, the PEP, the Progressive Empowerment Party, Mr. Philip Alexander. Mr. Alexander, welcome.
You need me to come up and check?
No, you go. Welcome.
Mr. Harvey Borris. I have no internet connection right now.
No internet connection.
For our live broadcast. Good job, B-Mobile.
No internet broadcast right now, but I have. There's.
You have yours running, but yeah. This is our B-Mobile connection. But
B-Mobile connection. Well, that's B-Mobile. That's sometimes it happens, as the case may be. But listen, tell us about the Progressive Empowerment Party, because this is a party, ladies and gentlemen, that fought the last local government election. They spoke, they came out, and I heard they lost their what do you call it? Payment.
Deposit.
Oh, that's the word, deposit. Yeah, I was looking for the word. As the case,
you could have called Rowley and asked him. He'd tell you about how much time he loses it in Tobago. And then when they bring him and they put him in the East and he lost it there too. It's only when they put him in a voter padded, Diego Martin West, where he could have win a safe seat. What does Eric had say? Balize, Tai, Crapo. Everybody's lose their deposit to start, you know.
Correct. So now tell us about
don't make that a thing.
All right, tell us about the party now.
What do you want to hear?
Tell us about how the party...
Progressive Empowerment Party is 20 months old. It's the fastest growing political party in the country's history, despite an unethical and unconstitutional media blackout. And if it wasn't for people like you, political activists, bringing me and us on shows, TV and radio, the people will think that they don't have a third party. But every Saturday at noon at 19 Stanmore Avenue, spitting distance from Balize House, we packed. Public meeting, packed. And you're invited to come. The last time I saw you, where I saw you?
I think we were fighting for chicken.
We was fighting for chicken.
Those days when I used to eat chicken. No, I was actually buying fish.
We was fighting for chicken. Lord have mercy.
So tell us, at this point in time...
Thanks for having me though.
Yeah.
And thank you to your audience.
All I want to ask you, in my entire life, I have never been sued. I am going to be sued after your segment. I shall be announcing I'm going to be suing somebody, but I've never been sued, right? So people stay tuned. I shall be announcing who I'm going to be suing, as the case may be. But I've never been sued. Right. So all I'm asking you, while you're here on this program,
it's ironic that you would bring that up because since this PNM came to office, I have received multiples of lawsuits, and it is because, and I want to believe, the Keith Rowley that got himself into office, talking about everybody, using every trick up his sleeve to silence everybody else. Yeah, I watched Michael Kwamina sit down and watch Trinidad and Tobago to tell them, nobody can talk about Keith Rowley and AVOL. I tell Michael Kwamina, I know who you think you're talking to, brother. Trinidad and Tobago have an entitlement, a right, and a duty of responsibility to ask that all of law enforcement investigate the Prime Minister simply because the allegations were made against the Prime Minister. And Keith Rowley said those exact words. If the nation cannot call its government to order, remember those words? That was Keith Rowley versus Patrick Manning. Do so don't want to like so at all.
But if the allegation is spurious, if the allegation has no truth in it, and I'm not saying that it is, but I'm saying if the person who is being accused feels that he or she, in this case, he being Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, feels that the allegation has no truth in it, don't you think that it is his right?
Which right? His right?
No, his right to defend his good name?
He's not defending his good name. What he's trying to do is hide. You see, when he went to His Excellency the President Max Richards with Emailgate, he knew the game he was playing. When he went home by Ken Gordon with Emailgate, he knew the game he was playing. And when he went into the Parliament to read it under parliamentary privilege, he knew the game he was playing. But this is a man who should have been charged with treason. Emailgate was a naked attempt to unseat a democratically elected government. Whether you like them or not have nothing to do with the fact that what was done was itself a criminal act.
How can you, no, allegedly so, but I'm saying to you at the end of the day.
What came out of Emailgate? Emailgate tore this nation apart. What came out of it? Characters were assassinated. What came out of it? I called for him to apologize to the now Commissioner of Police, because he went to the Parliament to appoint somebody Commissioner of Police whose name he denigrated and castigated. Nobody else ever said the things about Gary Griffith that Keith Rowley did under parliamentary privilege. This country is not a real country, It pretends to be one. We play one on TV. But you can't come in to the nation's parliament and read spurious, to use your word, fiction, and it just go nowhere. It just, I coming down the road here, I'm talking to a well-known attorney on the phone, hands-free, of course, because it's against the law to have the phone in your hand. And she's saying to me, and I'm agreeing, that what we do is we replace one rogue with the next and forget the last. This is a country that you could go back to Johnny O, and nobody, Johnny O, what is Johnny O? When I show them the pictures of the towers that Johnny O'Halloran built in Toronto with Trinidad money, Harvey, the country is not properly run. The people of this country, look at how we drive. I saw while I was waiting, your guys was filming the traffic. Look at how we drive. Did somebody call you about Colville Street? Go to the top of Colville Street, where Colville Street meets Tragrit Road. A year ago, hear me, that is outside that's the family court. Used to be the magistrate's court. On the corner of Cipriani Boulevard, where Cipriani Boulevard, Tragrit Road, and Colville Street meet. A year ago, an accident took down the traffic light. It's never been replaced. Somebody called about one that's not working. One is missing at a major intersection. This is no longer operated like a real country. It doesn't feel like one to me. When I hear things like Michael Kwamina would come on and call a press conference to talk to people, I am waiting to hear which organization of state has launched the investigation into the Prime Minister over this $100 million oil and his involvement in it. When we hear that Rowley's cousin is the one who got the email, and this person who sent the email say, he never even heard that man's name before. They're trying to play smart with stupidness. The average person who knows how email works, if I type and start to type an email and it finishes your email address, it is because I have emailed you before. It wouldn't pick it up out of the sky. You understand what I'm trying to say? So all those who were involved in all of these statements made, none of them are adding up. But it's like Petrotrin. And we're distracted because they're zigging and they're zagging. So before we even know what's going on with Petrotrin, is Espinay and Petrotrin in contempt of court? Are they serving letters to people when the court say, hold your hand, let's see what's going on here? And while we're dealing with that, they're rushing full pelt into scandals to build the biggest scandals sandals in the world. They say they're building the biggest one. Who's putting out the 2.7 million? Us or them? We don't know nothing. We have no information. We have Afro Raymond fighting to get information about scandals. Other people fighting to get information about Maduro. What is going on here? and the Minister of Finance telling the people the only time you get injustice is if you riot? Do you feel like this is a real country?
Of course it is a real country. We have our problems, we have our fault, or we have our situations, but it is a real country. I have traveled to several places, and we are far better than many. We are far, of course, we are far set back where others are concerned. There's no two ways about that. In terms of penalties, in terms of when people commit or do wrong, having to face the consequences. That's where I feel
our justice system is a mess. A member of the Progressive Empowerment Party, her sister was raped by the senior officer in a police station, and that case took 17 years to get through the courts. 17 years. 17 years. She was raped by the ranking officer in the station. It took 17 years. After the first 3 days in the court, point out perpetrator, everybody make the statement. What happened for the other 16 years and 9 months? What happened? You cannot call that a real country. We have 175,000 names on the HDC list trying to get a home. We spend $9 billion a year in national security. A starter home tax-free, duty-free will cost this country $100,000 to build. Just the $9 billion spent on the Ministry of National Security could build 90,000 starter homes this year. The science proves where home ownership is high, crime is low. But we don't use home ownership to put people in homes. We use home ownership to give financiers profit. So a $100,000 house, the HDC buys it for $1 million. And people split up the $900,000 per house. People leapfrogging one over the other in Goodwood Park on stolen Trinidad Treasury money. Where are we going? The third wealthiest nation in the Western Hemisphere. And you have to fight to find something to say that is good about this country. The only thing Trinidadians have to look forward to right now is Olatunji and where he going. Nothing else working. Nothing else.
I beg to disagree from the point of view that yes, we have problems with our judiciary. We have problems, of course, with persons paying the consequences on a timely basis, because justice must be on time, and that to me is something I've spoken about. No, hold on a second.
You misquoted there.
No, I've spoken about that.
You misquoted there.
Justice on a timely basis.
Exactly. Justice must.
I say we have problems with having justice on a timely basis.
Justice that is not on time is justice denied.
That's what I'm saying.
That is an absolute fact. How do you have a case was just resolved? If I say that a man was charged for breaking and entering into Stevens and Johnson's on Frederick Street, 90% of your viewing audience don't even know what a Stevens. 25 years. It takes 25 years to resolve a breaking and entering, Harvey. Come on.
Yeah,
but that cost.
Are you serious?
That is an absolute fact. And what did that cost just to keep on the record? Just to maintain that case on the record cost money. What did it cost to maintain that for 25 years?
You come here, you're talking as a political leader of your Progressive Empowerment Party. Yes. Where you were in government, you were advisor to certain persons. What did you do about these problems that didn't start today?
The best performing minister in this country's history was Gary Griffith, as Minister of National Security. It is to him I was a communications advisor. And I want to tell you something. The work that we did and the standard that was set there is the reason why crime dipped under Gary Griffith. I watched the UNC try to claim it as their, but it only happened in the 14 months that he was there. And the work that was done, and you're seeing him mirror it again as Commissioner of Police, because that is his level, that is his standard. He has this need to prove that he is the best. I tell people, I said, everybody has their art. This is Gary Griffith's art. He is about to paint his masterpiece. If you give him the tools that he requires, but not just small and petty crime. It can't just be small man crime. You need to be able to know that your Commissioner of Police has the tools to go after the corrupt and the fraudulent and those involved in criminal enrichment. I need to know that the same police service that could do a roadblock in Morva, Beetham, Laventille and Sealots could do one in Westmoreland, could do one in the Chamber of Commerce. Trinidad and Tobago knows, we know, the average person knows. That's why they're so jaded, you know. When we talk about we jamming still and we like it so, it's because we're jaded. We don't believe any politician anymore. We've seen so much nonsense wrapped up on this guise as politics that we just say,
we have to go for a break in a short. Your PRO of your party, she's here, and she's ready to rumble, as the case may be. And because there's a question and an issue which I must deal with in something that you wrote and that I think is quite troubling. And I got several calls from persons asking me to deal with this because they said this cannot be true in respect to those who were given all and those who were given none. And by the way, they say you are part of those who were given all.
I was part of those who were given all.
They say you are 1%.
Half a 1%.
Plain Robin.
They said a half a 1%.
A half a 1%. And here, plain Robin. Let's go for that break. We shall come back. We shall come back with this half a 1%.
Half a 1%.
We are 1, we are 2. No, we are half of 1%. That's what we're dealing with right now. The political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party, he says half of 1%.
You know my other half?
Huh?
You know my other half?
Tell me. Tell the nation.
You know, I said yesterday and it caused a Syrian girl to jump out herself and give me a set of talk on Facebook. We make a mockery of our racial integration in this country. They've used it so effectively well to drive us apart. I mean, it's disgusting. I abhor how this nation deals politically, racially. We need to undo that until we become one people under one flag. And I tell people, and I want to say this, that night you and I nearly lead that riot in Royal Castle. That wasn't black, white, Indian, Chinese, Syrian. That was all of we and we chicken. Listen, Harvey boy.
I went for Fisher.
You're still on the wait.
Anyhow, on a serious note, I have gotten complaints about this text that you sent out to the nation. And I want the entire text read today. Because there are those who are saying that this cannot be true. But what you have claimed on that text. And I want your PRO, and ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the PRO of the Progressive Empowerment Party. She is here. And I will allow her to introduce herself. Because she's beautiful, her smile is nice.
The hardest working
because of her, I'm thinking about coming to one of your meetings. Let's look at her face again.
Listen. No. I was bringing that Pep jersey for you. Watch me. Satish. I want you to watch Harvey size. I mean, wave at the camera.
Yes,
you see yourself?
Yeah, you see me? But I am PNM, but I put my country first.
I want a Pep jersey for Harvey that says formerly PNM.
So tell the nation who you are and what portfolio you hold in the Progressive Empowerment Party.
My name is Janice Leamonda Creaky, and I am the Public Relations Officer of the Progressive Empowerment Party.
Fantastic. Yes. And under your purview, under your watch, how you felt and how you feel the party is going thus far?
The party is doing well. It's only 20 months old now? 21 months old. So I tell people, you got to creep before you can walk and run. And based on what is happening now, especially with all the issues that are popping up, we are getting a lot of people coming across.
Yeah. Coming across?
Yes.
Balize House not far from Pep headquarters, you know.
Yes, they want to join the party because
are you saying that people are walking across the Balize House across the Pep, or people walking from the back in the Balize House? Some Balize House going for 20,000 new membership. You be careful in the next 2 months.
My father tell me small, when I was small, I say, this man asking this price for a car. My father say, you can ask for what you want, this is what you get. PNM hemorrhaging members under Rowley.
No.
People shame.
No.
Shame.
No.
Harvey.
Listen, let's go to this statement you made here.
Harvey is a decent and an honorable man. I know you to be a decent and an honorable man.
But I have no empirical,
your show opens with a prayer.
I have no empirical evidence of what you're saying, so I cannot condone what you're saying or support what you're saying. And that is a fact, sir. My honor must come first and everything else. Don't ever question my honor.
Let the PRO read.
So the PRO, my lady, I want you to give us that statement. I want you to read the entire statement, and I want us to take it up and there opening lines, because I want the listeners, my viewers, who are very intelligent, to make a contribution based on that, under what he said there. Go ahead, my lady.
Okay. Just one moment. Food for thought. Philip Edward Alexander. No, it's not about race, but without having enough population to influence a seat, much less an election by votes, the Trinidad Syrian community has taken control of the nation's food importation industry, the fast food industry. They control the lion's share of supply to the public health sector, the alcohol industry, are closing in on the baking industry, and are almost finished consolidating control of the construction sector. The Trinidad Chinese, whose number also cannot influence the outcome of a local election, much less impact the national vote, control vast sections of the supermarket retail trade, entertainment, finance, and own most of the media. Like the Syrians above, they control major state contracts and are massive players in the electrical, plumbing, and hardware industries. Who owns all the car dealerships, the insurance companies, the malls, the real estate development companies, even culture? Who owns all the major carnival bands? What do the Afro-Trinis have to show for their vast majority and the might of their vote over the past 56 years? Almost 56 years of PNM having social and economic power, trillions of dollars spent by PNM governments on all manner of projects. Why do the grandchildren of Africa, the PNM's base outnumber all races in number of persons incarcerated, have the lowest performance in education, lowest home ownership, lowest business ownership, yet have the highest rate in homelessness, in drug addiction, death by violent crime, gang membership, matters before the criminal court? What have Afro-Trinis gained from die-hard support of the PNM besides suffering, squalor, poverty, and the bottom rung of the social ladder? Why have none of those trillions and none of those projects been spent on the development of the actual people who keep putting the PNM in office? Walk, Mova, Beetham, Laventil, Sealots, Covine, Bagatelle, Mason, River Estate, Factory Road, Rich Plain, La Puerta, Sanganga, Caroni, Abid Pujad. Carenage, Abu Pujad, Never Dirty, Gonzales, Belmont, Cocorite, Waterhole, Harding Place, Scorpion, Big Yard, Nelson Street, East Port of Spain, and ask yourself, if this was never a race thing and the PNM only wins because of the Afro-Trini vote, why do the Afro-Trinis en masse end up with the shitty end of the national stick? Walk, Goodwood Park, Glencoe, Bayshore, Shorelands, West Moorings, Columbus Circle, Goodwood Gardens, Victoria Gardens, Fairways, Sinclair, Valsane. When the elections are over and they say they win, who is the they that mass of PNM supporters think wins? 56 years of PNM control of the public sector and 41 years of PNM control of the Treasury and the legislature. What have PNM supporters to show for all those decades of support as compared to everyone else? If the well-being of all citizens is the responsibility of government, and if one sector is failing compared to all the rest, shouldn't the government have a responsibility to have a national conversation? Have a national conversation as to what is required to change those realities? To undertake social interventions to lift all people to the same basic standard and give everyone a chance at a real contributing life. How long does it take to ensure a minimum wage is a livable wage? To secure this tiny nation's borders? To regulate banks and ensure that they treat their customers fairly? Or to make the education system functional so that it leaves no student behind? How long before the development of the people beyond need and labor to development and goals become the national conversation? How come that has never been done despite the PNM having had control of the country for most of its independent existence? There is a Turkish proverb that says, "The forest was shrinking, but the trees kept voting for the axe because its handle was made of wood and they thought it was one of them." When the numbers are counted and they say they win, what do PNM voters think they have ever won? Politics and elections will never offer a solution to the true circumstances of this nation until the supporters of the PNM wake up to the reality of what exactly they give their vote or their apathy to. If race voting ever helped anyone, how come it has never really helped them?
How come it has never really helped them? That's the question you ended with. And the question I asked of you, because in your statement you are implying, directly or indirectly, that the PNM is actually discriminating against those who vote for them. You're claiming that the PNM makes allowances or put things in place that the Syrian community now control this country, that the Chinese community now control everything else. I see you didn't make reference to the Indo community, but in your statement, you're saying that the Afro community has gotten literally nothing. And you refer to all the negative areas in terms of where there is suffering and hardship, like Rich Plain, the different areas as the case may be.
Laventille,
Village, Laventille,
Bagatelle, River Estate, Covine. But what do those communities? When was the last time you were in Carnage?
Over the weekend.
So you've been up streets like Abi Pujad and Big Yard and Scorpion?
No. I went to one area.
Drove through Carnage?
No. I went.
We drive through Carnage to go DDI.
Yeah.
But we don't, and to go Shagarama. We drive past vast communities of endless poverty and suffering.
Well, I went to help somebody who was shut down there, so I just drove down to be the person, help them as the case may be.
Between West Moorings and St. James, there is a bowl carved into the mountain we collectively call Kokorit. When was the last time you were in Kokorit?
When I went to help them get the walkover, and that was
Harvey.
good. The last time I went in Kokorit, but it was actually the last time I went in Kokorit.
A month ago.
Yeah.
3 bullets left Kokorit and killed a little boy learning to drive and seriously wounded the driving instructor on the opposite lane. 3 bullets left Kokorit. To the people who live in Kokorit, there's a place called Waterhole in Kokorit that have no water. Never. They've never had water. Across the road from Waterhole, they used to go across the road and ply their fishing trade. But Bayside Towers and Polymer, which has been acquired by the Ansa Makal Group, is slowly marching to Westmall, and it's cut them off from the sea. So these youth who are underemployable sit down every day and get into more and more trouble because the devil finds work for idle hands. And I keep asking, forget me. When I say these things, I know how easy it is to have a knee-jerk reaction. But Harvey, there's not one black activist in this country asking these questions. What has Morva, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots gotten? Look how long it took, 3 years to get a walkover for Sealots. It took 15 days to get the Brian Lara Stadium at Taruba ready. It's 15 years Carnage wait for that fish market, and they get a jokey fish market. It is the people of Carnage that feed Keith Rowley and raise his daughters. They put him in office. They go Martin West. That is who vote for him. I remember when the residents of Westmoreland and Victoria Gardens had a meeting in Victoria Gardens, and they had a meeting years ago, a decade and a half ago, about the condition of the river. and the member of parliament, Keith Rowley, not doing his job. And he sit down and he stand up after with his arrogant self and he say, you finish? Victoria Gardens and Westmoreland can't put me in office. He knows, and he knew. Yet, in 2009, when he stood up to castigate Patrick Manning, and he said, I don't know who among you was walking in my area. I was there, I know. And I was knocking doors in Goodwood Park, and Bayshore, and Glencoe. Here call Abi Pujar, and Big Yard, and Scorpion, and Cocorit, and La Perta, and Saganga. These are the people that put him in office for 32 years. Those people.
Philip Edward Alexander, are you stating, not implying now, are you stating that the African community, like myself, I am an African.
You're Trinidadian first.
I'm an African, I'm a Trinidadian first.
Afro-Trinidadian.
Afro-Trinidadian. But we're talking a specific issue now that you raised in your thing. So I don't bring it into Trinidad thing that. I'm saying. We're talking specifically about what you wrote.
Of African descent, right?
African descent. I'm of African descent. You're
more
saying.
Importantly, you're a PNM supporter.
The point
more importantly.
Right. You're saying that all of us, like myself, are deliberately, systematically being left behind to literally eat crumbs, or to be soldiers of the crumbs, and the others, the Syrian community and the Chinese community and others are organized deliberately to achieve ham, lamb, and jam. Is that what you're saying? No. Is that what you're saying?
There's a contract to mow the lawn around the Cooper Hospital that is given wife of a PNM financier under the UNC and continued under the PNM. Mowing lawns, pressure washing, painting. These are contracts that you could be giving to the people who need it most. You trying to tell me that these multi-million-dollar contracts that you could go into Morva, Beetham, Lavatel, and Sealots and give to them. Enterprise. Enterprise is a stone throw from the Couva Hospital. You couldn't give those people the job. We are playing smart with stupidness in this country, and I watched Peter George and Mario Sabud in a video talk about their biggest worry is that the middle class buffer is shrinking. I am a wordsmith. Communication is what I do for a living. I laugh and joke with you, but if you don't get serious, I get very serious. When man said the buffer shrinking, what he was sending a message to Westmoreland's is to the people in Goodwood Park. Westmoreland's job is to protect them from Cocorit. And the people in Glencoe, their work is to protect Goodwood Park from carnage. And to Peter George and Mario Sabga Aboud, the shrinking middle class worries them because they're losing their protection from the masses. And I got so angry when I heard them say, we're 5,000, but we're the most powerful. We're the most powerful. And Mario Sabga Aboud say, I am the Starbucks of the Caribbean. I've built 126 stores in 10 years. And I ask, where you get the money to build a store a month for 10 years? How does that work out? Forget that. When Peter George with his cocky, arrogant self say, we're 5,000, we're the smallest, but we're the most powerful. And I said to them, if tomorrow every other race responded to you, responded to that foolishness, and said, you're 5,000, you're the smallest, but you're the most powerful, you are the most powerful because of the labor and the consumption of every other race. And if every other race the next morning had said, you know what? Go and fry a burger yourself. Go and make your coffee and rituals yourself. We done. What are you going to do? His power would have dried up like 5-cent shave. I said, noonday sun. I told him, you're powerful, you're lucky. But the black people of Trinidad and Tobago, Harvey Borris, you have to admit, they don't have any leaders. Morva, Beetham, Lavantel, and Sealots cannot look that way.
But when you walk in here, the first thing you told me is look at you. You look at you. You work so hard for them, nothing for you, as the case may be. You're saying to us that people like myself, we getting nothing, as the case may be. And I rock back in my chair, and I ask myself the question, are you speaking, is he speaking the truth? Because something you have to reflect. You have to reflect a bit. And I ask myself, are you speaking the truth? Have I, Harvey Borris, known as the voice of the people, the leader of the grassroots, the people's ambassador, am I a soldier of the crumbs also? Am I being left behind, as the case may be? And that's the question that you're placing. No, before you answer, because I'm placing this to you. I want to ask you this question, Mr. Philip Edward Alexander. There's a part of you, that's a part of those you just referred to. Because there's that Syrian Lebanese 1% part of you, as a part of your half of that 1% part of you. If what you said is correct, how do you feel in terms of what is being given to that community, as you have just alleged, as against my community, as you have just alleged?
I could never live comfortably in a country. My problem has always been that I can't sleep well at night knowing there are people in this country sleeping in the street. That has always been my problem. We formed the Jericho Project 25 years ago when my son was born. And after his first birthday, we went to give clothes, all his toys, we went to give it to an orphanage. And I saw for the first time the condition the orphans live in this country. We formed the Jericho Project. Sunday come in, we're having the 15th annual Jericho Project Kids Funathon. We have all the orphans in the country, in the savannah. We bring them, we organize and party them, bouncy castles, spin, what do you call it, spinning chair playing, food. They look forward to it like their Christmas. The Jericho Project deals with the homeless. We went downtown to feed the people. We had to create a thing called My Daily Soup. We had to organize clothes. When you go, Harvey, my son could tell you, and he has 20 years of pictures, that his Christmas, since he's a little boy, is walking around town putting lunch in homeless people's hand. His Christmas day, wake up, open presents, grab the food, we're going downtown, feed 500 people. And he's known that his entire life. Melissa Dassarat, she is a journalist. She said to me, the first story I ever covered was you and your son in the rain Christmas morning.
Miss PRO of this party, you have listened to your political leader and his sentiments that he just expressed. What are your views in respect to the issues he brought forward? Because you may have a dissenting view in respect to the treatment as he alleged has been meted out to the biggest supporters of the PNM, the African community, and as against those who are filthy rich, and why the African communities have become the protectors of the Kakada. I want to hear your point of view.
What will I say to that? I can only go based on experience. And when I would drive through Beetham, for instance, and you would see this heavy cloud over Beetham due from the fumes and the smoke from the dump. And you would have to keep your glass and your cars raised because the smell was so terrible. I've always asked myself, why has nothing been done for these people?
These people live with
for
that.
For years. The people in Beetham have had to live in those conditions. I remember when, I think it was President Obama came and they built the wall to hide the condition of the note of what goes on. I went to areas in Chagonas Enterprise, I believe. And the condition of the roads, the condition of the homes of the people. You really have to ask yourself, what is going on? When you go and you see the homeless on the street, why do we have so many homeless on the street? You see, these are the kinds of questions that Trinidadians need to ask themselves. I went to Canada about a few months ago. And I mean, I was amazed. I went to Oshawa. Not a homeless person on the street. And I looked at it, I said, you know, this could be Trinidad because there's a lot of greenery, not concrete jungle. And I thought to myself, I said, you know, with the billions of dollars that have passed through this country, why can't we be like this? You drive on the highways, especially at night, you can't see the line. You have to kind of gauge and stay in the center of the road. But farthest when it's raining, because there's no, you can't see the line. So there's so many things. I passed through Hyderabad Street in St. James. There are 2 major leaks, water spewing every day, right? The road is like the Bocas, because you have to be weaving in and out to avoid the potholes. St. Anne's, Chinese Association, the road there, holes. You look at what's going on with the people. I mean, it makes you wonder.
It makes you wonder.
It really makes you wonder.
No, Trent Tobago, you're hearing for yourself. You just heard from the PRO of the Progressive Empowerment Party. It makes you wonder.
Correct.
The lines are now open. I'm supposed to finish this segment in the next few minutes, but I'm getting a few texts here, people asking that they want to call in if I can extend the time, so they want to do their own questions. So the lines are open. I will see how far I can go. The lines are open right now. The lines are open. Caller, welcome.
Hello, welcome. Hello.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Welcome. I will praise those 2 persons in what you're speaking. Very good speaking, brother. I can call you my brother. And the lady there, I can call him my sister. Harvey, he's a wicked man.
Gotta take him off, take him off, take him off, take him off, take him off immediately. Dotish and stupid. You will call and say things like that? I am interviewing the people, asking the question, you call and say things like that? You're bloody ridiculous, man. Let's take a next call. Caller, welcome.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Caller, welcome.
Observation from a statement that you made, where you said, when Mr. Phillip was saying that Afro-Trinidadians, right? And you said that it's the black community. And then you asked him if as he's being a part of the 1% from ethnic background, if he would take offense. Now, if I think the problem with us Trinidadians is that we look at ourselves from Africans, East Indians, Syrians, Chinese, whatever. If we were to look at the fact that we are Trinidadians and observe that we elect a government into power to serve us, we are the ones paying taxes, not the African slaveries, not the indentured laborers, not the Chinese, not the Syrians. We are entitled. We have rights. And if we are willing to stand up and face the truth that we have been deprived of what is our right and what we are entitled to, we wouldn't have the PNM, the UNC separating us. And this is where they have power. All of us need to realize that we have rights.
Thank you very much for your call. Thank you very much. We need to go for a break now. I'm going to ask them to keep the break very short because we need to get back. I'm going to follow my viewers. They have asked me to extend the time a bit so to get some answers from them based on the questions that you want to ask. But please, when you call, be respectful. That's all I ask of people. When you call, be respectful. Don't disrespect the guest nor myself. I ain't taking that. You understand? I'm the lion and I go raw. Let's go for that break. Always take on a red woman. If you aren't red, you're dead.
I think we live. We live.
Listen, TNT, I deliberately started like that. If you're ready, you're dead. This red woman here giving me talk backward and said, ask me how I still in the PNM.
Trinidad and Tobago. I bring my PRO on your show for you to pipsa and give her talk. Come now. Open your lines. Open your lines for the callers.
So listen, oh my God. Listen, TNT, the lines are open.
Where your
we are ready here. I want to ask this question. Based on what you
don't
just
be
said.
careful, eh? Be careful because they have questions you don't want to ask, you know. Harvey, we spent $3 trillion in this country in 56 years, you know.
But hold that. Caller, welcome.
Hello, good day.
Good day to you.
All right. I live in Devon Martin. And you see what Philip now said? He right.
He right.
I am a PNM. I was a PNM. And you see what Philip now today? He damn right. He speak for the black people. And the people black, and we not shook with out here. Right? We fed up, and it resonates. When they talk about this Rowley's Oreo cookie, it hits him hard because it's true.
Because what?
Because it's true.
Well, you can't, because this, you see, allegedly, based on what you just said.
It hits him hard because it is the 1%.
I cannot see. Hold on. You are saying, sir. No, I want to take the caller from you are saying, sir, that you believe that Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley is actually controlled by the 1% or by white people?
I am not saying that, but exactly what Philip is saying. Everything is going to them, and it's obvious. It's clear. I have on my glasses.
I have seen clearly. All right, thank you, sir. Philip, how do you respond to what the caller just said?
Well, you see, when Rowley took Oreo as an insult, it shows that he knows that he's doing wrong. I went to buy my cut up pineapple and banana from the brother who does sell fruits on the corner, La Puerta and Diego Martin Main Road. And he gave me a big bounce after because I was supposed to get $2 change, but he handed me back 2 bananas. I didn't know if I didn't know that he recognized me. And when he handed it back to me, he said, you know, we ain't dealing with no dollars, hold that. So I laughed, and he gave me a bounce. He said, you don't study Rowley, you know. Rowley only black on the outside, you black right through.
All right, caller, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, I was watching your program there, and I was just trying to find out. I was just trying to find out if the advertisement of Alpha Comedy Fest. Might I put Mr. Alexander straight, please? Dr. Rowley, when he received the email on the business, he went to the president. He gave the president the post option. He went to the president. When he see the president did not react, then he carried it to the parliament. So Mr. Alexander is dreadfully wrong.
Could I answer?
He ain't following the thing properly. Another thing, if Trinidad is so bad, and always talking like all the rest of people who are talking to that, why don't he leave Trinidad? I love my country. I'm 100% Trinidad. I'm not no half percent. I am not no half percent. You understand? I am 100% Trinidad. Good night, sir. I hope that I was not disrespectful, and thank you very much for your work.
Thank you for your call.
So you think my half of 1% make me less Trinidad than he? You see that kind of talk? That is what has go wrong. But I want him to understand the clown that he support, Keith Rowley.
No.
I'll tell you why.
I said no.
All right.
Mr.
Speaker, I retract.
You track that one time. Go ahead.
But the Prime Minister, the opposition leader, at that time, he was in the parliament for almost 30 years. He knew, like you know, like I know, your cameramen know, the president have no power. You gave the president email gate. You read, he said in the parliament, Mr. Speaker, what I saw, I was aghast. Threats to murder journalists. You got this hot off the press. Or like you spy on somebody's email. No, I want you to hear this.
Yeah.
And you give that to the president, knowing the president have no power. That the president can't do nothing with it. You give it to the president to stunt, and you wait 6 months, knowing that these were emails that said that these people, high office holders, was going to kill Denise Wren. Miss me with that, man.
Caller, welcome.
Hello, welcome. Good evening, gentlemen and lady.
Good afternoon to you.
Lady and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
What I have to say is, the PNM uneducate the people from Lavantie and Beetham. Because, watch, as Afro-Trinidadians, they should have been far more advanced than how they are now. You see, a man had to kick water on Mr. Hines for them to get a canal clean. Right? I feel if they were so conscious of themselves, at least the Prime Minister, if he was so conscious of himself being a black man, he look out more for the people that support him from inception. That's the people of Lavantie and Beetham. but they uneducate them, so when election time comes, they give them a couple dollars and they go back and vote for them.
Thank you for your call.
That is all I have to say.
Thank you for your call. The question must be asked, though, is at the end of the day, the entire country must be redeveloped or developed. No area must be left behind.
Correct.
And on that basis, I want to really emphasize the fact that you spoke about some of the depressed areas. They must be given the opportunity to grow. There must be no home. I have advocated the point, you know, the country should have
Harvey,
no
I know what I
homeless
say resonates with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Harvey, let me tell you something. In 2015, I ran as an independent in Diego Martin West. And I did a walkabout one day with a music truck that started at Bagatelle and ended in Carnage. We walk the L, that is Diego Martin West, which is everything on the right of Diego Martin Main Road is Diego Martin West. And you could have told, without looking up to see the street sign, if you were outside of a PNM community, because the infrastructure was ignored. The people had no good roads, they had no good pavement, bush was growing out the drain on the side. From the moment you start to reach in bright areas, on the same Diego Martin Main Road, from the moment you start to see places that you know would be considered middle class, why was local government treating people disproportionately?
Differently. Caller, welcome.
Good day.
Well,
good day.
And for those of you all who follow Philip, you would know Philip has a statement that is made continuously. Trinidad is designed to fail. And if you listen to him and continue listening to what he explains.
Caller, could you please repeat what you said? I'm saying clearly. I'm speaking in phone.
Trinidad is a failed state. It is designed by nature to fail. Everything can be fixed. But the government, past and present, they choose not to have it fixed.
She's right.
And I say this with reference. Let me draw an example. You're saying that when the guy made the comments about the Prime Minister being an Oreo, right? It may or may not be true. But if that were the case, me being a young person, why am I not offered the same chance to become a successful business person within this country as a Syrian, as a Chinese, or as a white person, a high-colored person? Because I'm black, I am East Indian, but I'm also considered black, right? So if it is that the government is saying that they are fair to Trinidadians, and we are all Trinidadians, that's how we are supposed to be treated. I believe that each of us should all be afforded the same treatment across the board. We are not asking for handouts. We're not asking for increase in disability grants or pension. We are asking to be afforded
equal
the same
treatment.
thing. Equal treatment across the board. We pay taxes. I am from South. UNC controls where I live. My drains flood every 10 minutes rainfall. But yet today city constituents vote in UNC year in, year out.
No choice.
But nobody seems to understand that this is not just against PNM and UNC, it's the purpose of government. So the function of government is the well-being of the citizenry, and we have not been seeing this, and this needs to change.
Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
said.
you very much. My lady, you have made a brilliant point. We're out of time. We
I'll say one thing to you.
So I'm getting, I'm just asking for, just give me a little second here. Let's finish up.
One thing to you. What she just said, put it in context. If you were treating all the people in the nation as the same, telling me I white outside, black inside, to me that was a compliment. Being able to tell me I black outside and white inside should be a compliment too. If it was equal across the board, if everybody enjoyed the same equality under all organizations of state in this country, black, white, red, green, and every shade in between, we would all be happy to be each other and to live with one another. We don't have that now. When you have a situation, when you have a disproportional representation, you're going to lead to the kind of decay that's taking place. So we need to fix that.
Hold on. We can't take, I see all the lines are lit. We can't take any more calls. So please hang up the phone, my people. Tomorrow we have a next program at 4:15 where you can call on issues in terms of your community concerns. We can't take any more calls. Just let me allow the PRO of the Progressive Informant Party to give a short closing comment.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you very much for having us on your show. I would like to also thank the listeners who have called in and made their contribution, the viewers, because at the end of the day, Trinidadians need to start being vocal. They need to start waking up to what is really going on in Trinidad and Tobago. And this country can be fixed under the Progressive Empowerment Party.
Well said.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have listened, you have heard it for yourself. You have seen the situation, you have heard the comments of...
You're a very good friend. And I am bringing that jersey for you tomorrow. You'll wear it with pride. Bring it for everybody inside.
I tell you the truth. The NIR Promise have offered me a jersey, the UNC offered me a jersey, the ILP offered me a jersey, the ULP, I've been offered many jerseys.
Give me 30 seconds to say this.
Before I will give you time. Before that, I've been offered to fight a seat last time for San Francisco for the last election, and I've turned it down. I've never jumped ship.
Give me 30 seconds to respond to that.
I've stayed strong with it, but at the end of the day, I must put country over party.
And that's why I want to say this to you. With people like you at the helm of the PNM, I would be happy to work with the PNM. Harvey Borris, the PNM is full of many hundreds of thousands of good people, like the UNC is full of good people, you know. It is the leadership of those parties that have used and taken those people for granted. And it is because of that we have to come now and try and fix this country. People like you and me. You know, I know, we would prefer to be out lying in the eating the Royal Castle and going away. Listen, you as a leader in the PNM, we need more people like you to stand up.
All right, but don't bottom me up. We're closing with this because you said before, I got nothing, I have nothing in the PNM. You said that people like myself, and we can close the program, you're closing the program director, but at the end of the day, you must carry a song there. You heard them telling me, I get nothing.
You want to fight?
I get nothing.
You want to fight and fight us back?
No, but you said the people like me ain't getting nothing, as the case may be. So how you can come here and say people like me, as sold us at the crumbs, we getting nothing, and they say all them other
it's me to blame. It's me to blame.
But
you can't shoot the messenger.
But how could you come here and say all them African people are protectors of the Kakada?
You start your show with an opening for people to call and complain. Why? The country not working.
Ladies and gentlemen,
good point.
Stay safe.
I thank you.
Point.
Thank you for coming. I love my country. Tomorrow at 4:15, join me for another tackling program that will shake the nation up. This is the #1 program for the people. TNT. We shall come together. Is the time up? Are we out of time? Let's go. Until tomorrow, I love my country. Amen. We go for a break. We shall be. Oh my God, I'm confused. Lord. Let's go for a break. Wow, Lord, this is pressure. Oh, we're back on now. Listen, TNT. We just had Philip, Edward, Alexander here, and his PRO. And they spoke about the issues and the decline of the African community. Now, Philip is no African, but is he talking the truth about Africans? Is there something wrong? Is there any truth in what was said today? I want to ask the question, is there any truth in what was said today? Have Africans become soldiers of the crumbs? Let's look around and see if there's any truth in what he said. Have Africans become the protectors of the Kakada? Is there any truth in that? I'm seeing every line lit, but please let me not take any calls because we want to close up just now. We want to close up just now. I see every line lit. All the lines right now, we have everyone lit. People want to call in to give their point of view. Tomorrow, please, calm down tomorrow. This program is your program. And I am your voice. I speak on behalf of the grassroots. I'm the leader of the grassroots, and that's why I told you I shall be forming the powerful grassroots of Trinidad and Tobago. Because the truth must be told. I do not believe that this was a plan or a plot to keep Africans on. I still don't believe that. But I believe that Africans are not in the best position. Philip came in here and he said to me that, look at me, I've done so much. What are they doing for you? And I wouldn't say just the things he told me. But all I can say to you is at the end of the day, I put my country first. And if it is that I have to speak out on issues in respect to bad roads, lights, water, and things like that, I shall do that. And if it is that I have to speak out on matters of policing with the commissioner, as you'll see the commissioner's face now, and the commissioner of police in respect to, he was right on the hot seat, and we are part of the reason why he is commissioner today. If it is that this man, they call Gary Griffith, we have to speak to him to ensure that he to get his job done right, we shall fight for that also. We support Gary Griffith. We want crime to come down. We want no homeless person on the streets of this country. We want our country in good hands. Tomorrow, Trinidad and Tobago, I shall be telling you who I shall be suing. Tomorrow, I shall tell you who I shall be suing. Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. If you come against him, if you lie on him as he sees, he will sue you. And I'm emboldened by the strength of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, because if you think you're lying upon him, he will deal with you. I will deal with persons who are coming against me, because I'm the chairman of the Center for Justice. And tomorrow, I shall announce to the nation who I am suing. TNT, until tomorrow at 4:15, remember, live to love to live. I love my country.